This is the module for students to determine the relationship between lines that represent equations. So let's call it relationships, relationship between equation lines. You could think of something better, a better name for that. And we'll say, what is the relationship of the lines that represent these two equations? We'll give them two equations. Maybe the first equation would be 4x minus, let's say 4x plus 2y is equal to 1. And maybe the second equation is 2x minus 4y is equal to 5. And so the first time the student clicks hint, and in general we should always put it in this kind of standard form and kind of force them to put it in y equals mx plus b form. So when they click hint the first time, and there should not be a fifth choice here. So when they click hint unless you can think of a good fifth choice, the first time they click hint, it'll say putting. Actually, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should type it. I'm getting tired of. So it'll be putting. No, actually I like it better just to write it out. So let me just write it out. So it'll be putting the first equation in y is equal to mx plus b form gives. So you just solve it all out. This will all be one hint. 4x plus 2y is equal to 1. 2y is equal to negative 4x plus 1. Y is equal to negative 2x plus 1/2. And then the next hint, putting the second equation in y is equal to mx plus b form gives. And then you do the second equation. In the second equation, you have 2x minus 4y is equal to 5. You have negative 4y is equal to 2x plus 5, negative 2x plus 5. Y is equal to 1/2 minus 5 over 4. And then the next hint, the last hint, you'll say these. You could write the slope of the first line, the slope of the first line, and in parentheses you could put the slope if you want. What is it? Negative 2 is the negative inverse of the slope of the second. And we could write that down too, which is just positive 1/2. So the lines are perpendicular. So the lines are perpendicular. So the student should pick perpendicular in this scenario. And so in general, we should give them to them in slope in this standard form. They have to convert into y equals mx plus b form. If the slopes are the negative inverse, we're dealing with a perpendicular line. If the slopes are the same and the y-intercepts are different, then we're dealing with parallel lines. And if the slopes and the y-intercepts are the same, we're dealing with the same line. And if none of those are true, we're dealing with none of the above. We're dealing with just regular intersecting lines. And in general, once you've clicked all of the hints, maybe right when this hint happens, we should graph this line. So this line might look something like this, negative 2x plus 1/2. So it might look something like this. And when you give this hint, you should graph this line as well. Graph this line minus 5/4, something like this, and it's 1/2 x. So it's going to look something like this. And students will see at that point that it's already perpendicular, but then that third hint will make it explicit. So hopefully that's enough to make this module. And well, yeah, that should be enough.